The mic drop.
That ban is a product of a poor environment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. I can prove it.
Of course, there's something wrong with him. He's a Negro.
Somebody drop this fool for me.
The mic drop.
While freedom of speech is one of the most sacrosanct freedoms in American history, there are a variety of exceptions to the general principle that speech is protected under the First Amendment. We will discuss 6 such categories: incitement, fighting words, obscenity, defamation, commercial speech, and cases in which freedom of speech is outweighed by an even more compelling interest. We'll start with
the mic drop.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Big Mike Drop. I am your host, Big Mike. I appreciate y'all for joining me today. Ronnie's not going to be with us, so it's going to be me. Tonight, I'm going to have to prove my worth once again. So, hey, it is what it is. We hope that she gets better soon and joins us back Thursday. But I'm glad that y'all are here tonight. So I just wanted to take some time out and talk with y'all about some things. Of course, you see that Netflix backed Dave Chappelle, which is awesome. Netflix backed Dave Chappelle amidst a bunch of turmoil surrounding his brand new stand-up, The Closer, which was awesome. If you have not checked it out, you need to check it out. But today is a great day. This last week has been a great week, and I will say it's been a great week in the name of freedom. It's been a great week for freedom. And most notably, the freedom of speech, the freedom to express art, the freedom to express oneself. And I wanted to talk about some things that are going on tonight, and I want to be candid about it. Y'all bear with me tonight. It's a lot to unpack. So we're going to talk about Dave Chappelle and Netflix. We're going to talk about some of the backlash regarding Dave Chappelle's show. Man, we got MJ in the building. What's up, MJ? Got MJ in the building. Man, stay with me, brother. I hope to hear from you, man. I'm going to open the phone lines up in about 30 minutes, but I'm going to take this first 30 minutes and just kind of lay everything out. Also, we're going to be discussing, and I got an outline tonight. I'm not going to sit up and act like I don't. We're going to talk about the social issues that come from the woke movement. Let's just talk about it like that. I'll talk about it like that. The social issues that are propagated and that come from the woke movement. I also want to talk about California Assembly Bill 1084. California Assembly Bill 1084. We're going to get into that. That passed on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And now California has to basically, now I don't have to read the story because it's kind of hard to explain. For some reason or another, I guess they have to have non-gender specific aisles in toy stores. So major retailers over 500 employees have to basically not have Barbie dolls in pink and, you know, G.I. Joe in blue. They have to have it all. I don't know. It's confusing to me. If anybody does know about that, let me know. No sale of Jerry tonight. I'm on some good water and some coffee. Excuse me. Had to do that. Loosen up the throat, man, today, man. Feeling like I'm nervous a little bit or something. I don't know what's up with that shit, though. This is a big mic drop. Don't forget to hit like and share this video. Please like this video, share the video. Liking the video drives it up in the algorithm. It's time to start having more important conversations like this. It's time to start having more important conversations, more candid conversations, not offensive conversations, but candid conversations that some motherfuckers just happen to get offended because of. But that is what it is. I'm not responsible for people's feelings. You know, I don't want them to say things that make people feel bad, but sometimes you say things that make people feel bad. That's part of saying shit. So it's never on purpose. I'm never maliciously setting out unless we playing the dozens or something. You know, we janking. Because I'm vicious. I can get with them, get with the best of them. If we roasting, janking, whatever you like to call it, wherever you from. I'm going to switch this internet. Go on, get that popping. I also want to talk about Superman. The new Superman is bisexual. Superman's son is bisexual. And I want to talk about why that they didn't do the woke community any favors by making him bisexual. I'll explain why. I had some people that gave me some feedback. I'm going to start breaking these videos up into clips on YouTube so you can watch different clips of different things that we talk about. But tonight, you know, I'm going to have the same setup. Videos, articles, you know, things of that nature. So let's jump into it without further ado. And let's go ahead and get it squared away, man. Let's get this information out here. Let's get it squared away. So let's see. Let me get there. Now I have to go back through my history, man. I've been watching YouTube all day. While working on stuff. So yeah, let me get this video queued up. And we want to talk about the reaction to Dave Chappelle. And I want you to watch CNN. This is CNN with Don Lemon. You know Don Lemon's story. So I want y'all to watch this and we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it.
Because I understand
There's
backlash once again for including jokes about transgender people and the LGBTQ community in a television special. It is a new Netflix special out where he jokes about trans women's looks, about genitalia, tells a story about beating up a lesbian woman. Now, Chappelle says that he is Team TERF, T-E-R-F, referencing the term for trans exclusionary radical feminist. Here's some of it.
Cancel J.K. Rowling. My God, J.K. Rowling wrote all the Harry Potter books by herself. She sold so many books, the Bible worries about her. And they canceled her because she said in an interview, and this is not exactly what she said, but effectually, she said gender was a fact. And then the trans community got mad as shit. They started calling her a TERF. So I looked it up. TERF is an acronym. Stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. I'm Team TERF. I agree, man. Gender is a fact.
All right, so joining me now is activist and writer Raquel Willis. Raquel, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about some things here and why there's been such criticism and see what you come up with, what we come up with here. Because he made the jokes. The critics are saying, look, you have to consider what's happening during this last historic year of anti-transgender legislation introduced at least in 33 states, less than a year after a record high number of transgender people, most of them trans women of color, were killed. So what did you think?
All right, I'm going to stop there. I want to stop there because that's a part of the narrative that really needs to be cleared up. They kind of always kind of glaze over that. So I started looking into it. And so far this year, there's been, I want to say 38 or 39 trans women killed. 38 or 39. Out of those, I read about the first 21 of them because the article I saw was from June. But a lot of these people were killed in domestic violence situations, and they don't ever bring that up. A great deal of these people are killed in situations to where they're having a conflict with somebody else, usually a lover, and this is never brought up. So I started thinking, man, are they really doing these people a favor? This show tonight is about equal protection under the law for everybody. It's not about what decision somebody makes with their life. I'll just say it like that. But it is about, are you really being protected? Are they really protecting these people? Or are they just using these people to push a further and much larger initiative? But let's keep going. Let's keep listening to Don.
And you have to keep in mind, he is a comedian, right? But what did you, and so what
now
did you
he's
think
been
when
on
you read
Don
this?
ass before.
Well, when I watched the special, I felt kind of disheartened that he was continuing this attack on the trans community. Now, I think we love to say, oh, comedians are just telling jokes. Like, that's what they do. But I think it ignores the fact that they have platforms, and those platforms, the rhetoric that they espouse has real world consequences for a lot of cisgender straight people who don't know trans people in their everyday life. Their first interaction with trans people is through the media. It's through what they watch, through what they read. And so the only things that they hear are these constant misconceptions about our experiences,
So she talks as if trans people hide in a cave and they live amongst themselves underground, and no, they're not all, within the world. We are in the 21st century. I don't know anybody that's not seen a trans person or worked with a trans person or had to, been in a social setting with a person that was a transgender. Pay attention to the narrative and what they say. Peep game.
Demonizing words about who we are, saying that we're not women, if we're trans women, saying that trans men are not men, and on, then they're going to actually bring that into their everyday lives. And that's why we see high rates of violence. At least 38 trans and gender nonconforming folks have been murdered this year. We will continue to see more pieces of legislation.
If you look up those murders, you're not going to see any specificity with why they were murdered. They don't even talk about a lot of who the suspects are. A couple of them, they say that they're ex-lovers, people are intimate partners, mothers, fathers, people of that nature. A lot of times these people are living in homeless camps. They don't talk about that. So a lot of homeless people that are transgendered because they may have been kicked out and rejected by their family, but they're being killed on the streets. A lot of drug abuse, a lot of drug interactions. It's many various reasons why somebody could get themselves killed out in these streets. Various reasons. There are also a host of other health problems that arise from this that they never discuss. if you've seen the Dave Chappelle show, if you watched the closer, then you saw and heard the story about his friend Daphne committing suicide. The suicide rates are through the roof, but they don't talk about that. Let's keep going.
Put forth that actually impacts young trans people. And so I think that's also the other thing too, is that people get so fixated on the adjective of trans, right? The trans part of it, but we are human. And I think that Chappelle did a sloppy job of speaking to our humanity.
Yeah, there's a part in there where he talks about his friend, right?
She did a sloppy job of shaving. She got some 5
I'm not
o'clock
asking
shadow
you
going on.
To understand, I'm just asking you to listen, and I'm telling you that I'm having this experience and that I'm a human being. So is there any part that is redemptive in there, or is there anything you would like to, if you had a discussion with Chappelle, what would you say to him?
Well, I think what's unfortunate is that he has not really grappled with the fact that as a Black, cisgender, straight man, he could have easily used his platform to talk about the tensions that exist within our own community as Black folks, right?
Boom. There you go. There you go. Hold on. Skirt. Hold on. There you go. There you go. You see that? The projection. Oh, we could have talked about what's going on in our own community. First of all, nothing about this individual seems Black. If you heard this individual speaking on not watching them, you would not think Black man or Black woman, period. So it's something else going on with this individual. This person is obviously whatever. I can't put no energy into that. But always projecting. Whenever we try to discuss, it's always a deflection. Boom. What about your community? What about your community? He's talking about our community, and he's talking about one of the biggest roadblocks in our community right now, which is your community. Let's just keep it a buck. Not that we have problems intersecting, because this has been going on since the beginning of time. But it's taken on a more sinister shape in the last 2 decades. I'll say since Obama.
Cisgender, straight comedians kind of gloss over the fact that Black LGBTQ plus folks exist. And so it's easy for him to paint the LGBTQ plus community as purely just a white community. You know, there are all these ideas that queerness and transness, all these different things are white inventions. And that's just not true. Black LGBTQ plus folks have always existed. And I really wish he didn't spend so much time only focusing on the fact that there are white people within our community, because it lets him get off the hook. He doesn't have to hold himself accountable for the transphobia and homophobia that exists within our own community.
Now, it's to my knowledge that a phobia is an irrational fear of something. An irrational fear. Like people have hydrophobia. They're afraid of water. They're definitely afraid of water. Why are these words being conflated and mixed? See, what's happening is a lot of times they don't, I guess language and semantics has been so downplayed and it's been allowed to be, manipulated for so long that now words just don't mean anything. Not to them, but they do to me. Listen to the words that these people use. First of all, this individual has used our community in 2 different settings in one conversation. I don't know if you peeped that out or not. And Don, let's just let her get by it, because Don has a dual citizenship or a dual allegiance as well. So they feel like they can talk at Black people and talk for LGBTQ plus at the same time, out of both sides of the neck. There is no two our communities. You'd have to pick one community or another, especially when you're speaking against the other community. I don't like this at all, and it's something. Let me keep going. Let me stop.
Well, let's like some of the terms that you're talking about, like cis and all of that, and people may not be familiar with, and it's our job to educate people, right? So I just want to and to talk and tell people what gender identity is and transgender.
What the fuck is cisgender? Why does Don Lemon have to tell us at 43 years old? I'm 43 years old. Why do I need Don Lemon to tell me on a CNN news segment what gender is? Why so much in the mix? This is a problem when we can't be truthful about this. It's a problem. Don Lemon is going to give us a lesson on what gender is.
So let's set the record straight just so that people know that when it talks about gender, gender identity is one's innermost concept of self as male, female, a blend of both or neither, how individuals perceive themselves and what they call themselves. One's gender identity can be the same or different from their sex assigned at birth. And then there is transgender, which is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity and or expression is different from cultural expectations based on the sex that they were assigned at birth. So when Chappelle says gender is a fact, what do you think of that?
Well, I think he, along with a lot of the trans exclusionary radical feminists or TERFs that he brought up, like to put forth this idea that trans people are saying that gender does not exist. That is completely antithetical to what many of us are actually saying. We're actually saying that gender is more complex than most people think. Gender and sex are things, but they aren't the exact same thing. And so the way that you are assigned at birth, maybe based on genitalia or whatever, is not the same way that you.
Okay, so peep this out. And it's all going to make sense soon. But peep out what they're talking about, the words like assignment and things like that, as if a human gives you an assignment of your gender when you're born. You're just born what you are. And coming to grips with this fact is like the biggest obstacle that we should never be having to go over at this point in time as a society. Why are we trying to traverse such difficult terrain as a society? We're not biologists. Let's just keep it simple. What they say, keep it simple, stupid. What you're seeing is a revisionist science that's happening. They're trying to revise science. They're trying to rewrite science, similar to the way the eugenicists did back in the day when they were practicing eugenics, taking away people's freedom to speak out against what they see is wrong, or if they feel like they're socially wrong, taking away any of your social clout, your ability to gripe or file a grievance. Look up any other regime throughout history. Look at the Nazi regime. Look at the Stalinist regime in Soviet Union. Look at the Maoist regime in China. These were the exact type of tactics that were used to oppress other people. At no point in time has the minority been able to rule over the majority without employing oppressive tactics. And that, yes, the woke community is definitely a minority. Don't let them fool you. It don't matter how many laws you legislate. Let's keep going.
Femininity and so on and so forth. So we're really saying that these things are more complex, and it's actually not just trans people having a gender experience. Everybody is having a more complicated gender experience.
I have 3 dogs in this fight, so let me start there. I'm Black.
3 dogs in the
I
fight.
am a comedian, and I am transgendered. So I have 3 dogs in this fight, and I want to be fair to each and every one of those platforms. What I heard from Dave Chappelle's latest special was the overpouring of racism that he talked about, because I understand that he's talked about the transgender community, and some of the things were painful to hear, but funny, because as a comedian, that is our safe place. That is where we are the safest on stage, where we should feel like we should be able to say anything. Nina Simone said,
not if it's up to Don. Don is bucking them eyes. Don. Yeah.
the best. How can you be an artist and not speak about the times? He says it in socially inappropriate ways that people say is not politically correct, but it's teachable moments. And there was no lies told. Here's the hypocrisy for me.
No lies told. Shout out to Flame Monroe for at least being honest and being straight up. These are the type of experiences that make it easy to deal with people who have different lifestyles. This is what makes it easy. Rational conversation, logical conversation. Now, Don Lemon is fucking hot right now. He's hot. He's hot.
Don, and I love my community, LGBTQ plus IA, and I'm saying it correctly because I am still a comedian first, but I'm going to be respectful tonight to everyone involved, because I have three dogs in this fight. The love of me as a comedian will always be in me, but I can hide that. The transgender person that I identify as will always be in me, but I can hide that. But the black person in me, I can never hide.
Don did not want to hear that shit right there. Don is ready to end the interview right now. He's ready to end the interview right now. Look at him. Look at the disappointment on his face.
I hate the fact that we keep skirting around. So here it is, the hypocrisy. Dave Chappelle gave his friend, his friend who was white and transgender, who wanted to be a comedian, an opportunity to open for him. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest to do it of our time right now. That was a huge opportunity for her. The LGBT community never reached out to give her any opportunity like that. But then they turned and said that he was transphobic, he was homophobic, all the backlash that he received from 2 or 3 episodes ago from specials. And she stood with her friend, the transgender woman, and stood against Dave to say, no, he's not like that. And the LGBTQIA plus community bashed this woman so bad that she jumped off a building and killed herself. Dave was not responsible for that. So who is? Because
Flame, we don't know.
No, Flame.
We don't know.
Well, Flame, we don't know. We don't know, Flame. We don't know. We don't know, Flame.
Know exactly why she killed herself.
We don't know why.
Her constitution and my constitution are very different.
Just like we don't know exactly why all of these mysterious deaths are occurring, because they're not all from violence. We're going to talk about what some of them are from, though. We're going to talk about it.
I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing. Who are we blaming for that? You're not blaming Dave. Dave gave her an opportunity that the community did not give her.
Listen, Dave Chappelle is saying, quite honestly, what a lot of people think. They don't understand the trans community and how people may identify. Is that a fair statement?
No, it's not a fair statement. It's not a fair statement. It's not a fair statement. Why does everybody have to fucking understand everybody? Why can't you just be around people and be decent? And that's for everybody. That's for all people. Be around somebody and be decent. Really. Why does everybody need all of this understanding? Oh, I just want people to understand me. If you want people to understand you, get a platform to express yourself. The people that want to understand you will flock to your platform to gain a deeper understanding of you. But the world does not owe you understanding. And as a black man, I just can't bring myself to feel sorry for you. I just can't. Similar to what Flame said. She's black first. She said she can even hide her transgender, but she can't hide her blackness. That was deep as fuck. And I appreciate her for going on that platform and saying that and reducing this motherfucking scallywag ass dude right here. He's whatever, man. Let's keep going.
I think that's very fair. And I think that he has opened up an opportunity for us to come to the table and have real conversations, Don, about this. The problem is we keep sending disgruntled, angry people with their fist balls up in their face with an attitude to come to the table. If you come to the table already with an attitude, you will never hear what I'm saying, and I will never hear what you're saying. If we don't take the time to have real conversations with real people in the community that represent, you can't come with an already agenda. So we can let down this smoke screen between us and them so there will just be an us. He pretty much said that we are so much more alike than we are different. And I'm telling you, you hear what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. You had to know that Dave Chappelle was cool in who he is because Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million a few years ago. It is in the Bible, and it says, for what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Hey,
the money was never the problem. He came back. Yes.
Let me ask you this, because
Flame is straight up preaching on that. Shout out to Flame on that. For real, Flame is almost like Big Mama status right now. She more Big Mama than half the Big Mamas out here. Y'all figure out what to do with that one. Figure out what to do with it. I'm gonna move on from this because you pretty much got the tongue lashing, and Don Lemon is at this point in time defeated. He ready to get off and get some wine, and he gonna chill. He's getting some wine. And he's going home to his husband. Real Dude Uprising said, Flame spit the real. Absolutely. Spit the real on that one, man. Shout out, man. But let's get into some of the things, the social problems that they really don't talk about. And let's figure out why Black outlets have been the ones to step up and cap for the narrative so hard. Why is it that they want us to be involved? Why is it that they want us to be involved? This is really going to boil down to some things that a lot of people may not like, but this boils down to the simple fact that we're still facing the old, fighting the old fight. And that's the fight against the Malthusian economic model, which calls for depopulation. I don't know if you see it, but all of these things fit in. You got people that are going back and forth about the vaccine. You got people that, are going back and forth about, abortion, people that don't want to get married, people that, don't want to have kids, people that don't want to have sex with the same opposite sex. You have all of these different things, but it all leads up to one outcome. It all leads to one end. And that is a world where people don't value reproduction. But I'm going to tell you about this Superman thing, because the Superman thing is funny. Let's look at that. Let me look at that. Matter of fact, back to your boy Don Lemon. I hate to keep doing the Don Lemon thing, but let's check it out.
So take this. Today is National Coming Out Day.
What's funny? I'm gonna make this bigger. Look at the ratios on this nigga's videos, though. I mean, if this isn't failure, look at that. 951 likes to 2,000 dislikes. And they wonder why the content creators have such a hard time or don't really like the big corporations and the big stars trying to come in and become influencers, because y'all cheapen it. Y'all really cheapen it, because you just bring the agenda to a place that was meant for people to be free. Then comes your rules and your cancellation and everything else. I can't believe we let this platform get to that, but we'll deal with it. So here's Don Lemon again. And it wasn't really Don Lemon I wanted you to see. It was the guy that wrote the story.
So take this. Today is...
Don't nobody care about Don Lemon. Yeah.
And a New York Times best-selling author.
There-
Tom, it's great to meet
there
you.
we
I'm a little
go.
bit of a comic book junkie, so I appreciate you joining us. Tell us about Superman and his friend Jay Nakamura. What's their relationship like?
Sure. Well, their relationship, if you've seen the pictures today, is obviously a close one. But this Superman is not Clark Kent. I do want to make that clear from the get-go. This is John Kent, who is actually the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane.
Why? Why did you make this decision?
Why did I make this decision? Well, when I was offered the gig to have a new Superman and a new Superman #1 for DC Comics, that's a very big thing. And I think the first question I had to ask myself was, what should Superman represent today? A new Superman, if you're going to make a new Superman, what should that look like? And it struck me as it would be a real opportunity lost if we had Clark Kent replaced by another straight white savior. So here was an opportunity to create a Superman who could represent a whole new group of people. And I think that was one that we had to leap on.
And we'll be addressing modern day issues like
the climate crisis, like refugees. John, in the last issue, has just been arrested attending a protest trying to stop the refoulement of asylum seekers. He does 45 minutes of hard time, is how he puts it. But as a stand, it's a very powerful thing. And yeah, so this is one of the things for him. He is trying to work out who he is as Superman, who he is as John Kent. And so us as the writer and everybody at DC Comics is watching him go through this process.
I used to like DC Comics, but DC Comics then came with two of them now. So you got Robin that's bisexual, and you got Superman's son, John Kent, that's bisexual. But I'm going to tell you the big slap in the face that a lot of the community is too busy celebrating and jumping up and down with their pom-poms right now. They're too busy celebrating to realize that they couldn't make him all the way gay. They stopped him there. Look at this guy. I'm sure he wanted to make him all the way gay, but they couldn't make him all the way gay. And you know why? It's because Superman's lineage would be done. You would have to have Superman DNA to continue having Superman. So if they knew that if they didn't leave the door open by assigning bisexuality to Superman's son, they knew that this would be the end of Superman's lineage. I dare you to challenge me on it. Tom Taylor. You see how these people maneuver the messaging? You see how the messaging is manipulated? I guarantee you that's the reason that he wasn't all the way G. And honestly, if I were the community, I'd take it as a slap in the face. You know, if you want to ride out, ride all the way out. Ride out like this.
Somebody drop this fool for me.
Now come on in the house and say bye to Charlene and the kids.
Fuck them kids.
Nah.
Fuck the kids?
Yeah.
Fuck the kids. But they couldn't ride out like that because they knew it would be the end of Superman's legacy. If you feel like you want to challenge my opinion, then I'm going to open up the phone lines. So let me go ahead and get the blog talk going. And we're gonna see. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Why can't shit just be regular? Why all of a sudden this, you know? Give me one moment.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN when...
To start your show now, press 1.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
All right, got the phone lines open. I got a question for y'all tonight. Is the woke movement a tourist organization? And you know what I mean by tourist. Certain things I can't put on there because of the algorithm. So no need to get all into it. Is it the woke movement a tourist organization? 515-605-9708. 515-605-9708. Let me get in my studio, studio. And let's get it popping. I don't know how I got out of the studio. So, yep, we up and running. 515-605-9708. I don't feel like we really need to listen to this dude anymore because he's already been caught up in the mix. He did as much as he could do with the character, but they could not have like Superman's son adopting a son with his lover and keep the Superman story going. You have to have the Krypton DNA. You have to have it. You have to have Kryptonian DNA. But I'm about to be through with DC Comics anyway. Love Batman. Don't really care too much about Robin. They can do what they want to do with Robin. But if they fuck with Bruce Wayne, man, I'm a snap. I'm a snap. Let's get up off there. All right. So let's see what else I have for y'all tonight. Let's talk about this. This is an article in Forbes magazine. And this is kind of what they're referring to when they bring these numbers out and whatnot. So I want to read that and see if you're getting a different opinion or a different impression than what the news tries to lead you to get. So this was in Forbes, September 2nd, 2021, and it's by Robert Hart. It's a business article. Transgender people twice as likely to die as cisgender people, study finds. So this was a study done in, I believe it was in Amsterdam, and it said that they're twice as likely to die as cisgender people. According to a long-running study published in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology on Thursday, difference researchers said underscores the need for improving social acceptance and medical care for trans people. I'm sorry about that. Can't read tonight. Getting tongue tied. Oh, we got somebody on the line. Yo, you on the big mic drop? Who we got?
Yeah, this is Mitch out here, Dothan.
Man, what's up, Mitch?
But I'm just what are your thoughts about the yes. So what about your thoughts about the LA Raiders coach?
Oh man, yeah, man. I wanted to bring that up about John Gruden getting asking to be resign. Actually, he wasn't fired, but he was asked to resign, and I believe he referred to a black man as said his lips were as big as Goodyear tires or something like that. But then he didn't get asked to step down until he said something about homosexuals. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Dave Chappelle? Go ahead.
Yeah, I ain't quite watched that. I kind of heard bits and pieces over the news, and me and Johnny sitting here was talking about it earlier. But I think the NFL was probably pressured to make something happen just because of what the NFL trying to represent now. You know, because you see everything out there on the field. You know, no racism, no Black Lives Matter. So I think the NFL really had to make a statement, especially after the thing with Kaepernick. That's his name.
Kaepernick, yeah.
You know, with him. Yeah. So I think the NFL really told him he needed to step on.
Yeah, they got him up out of there. But here's the deal: they didn't shame him, and they let him resign.
Yeah, but it's easy to resign with about what 10 million?
Yeah, probably 10 or 20 million. He had a 10-year, $100 million contract with the Raiders. And he had said all types of things about black people and women and everything else. But then once he said something about the woke movement, then, you know, he was asked to leave.
Yeah.
He was asked to leave. What Pops got going on over there, man?
You're doing a little different right now.
Yeah, man. Tell him I said what's up. What's popping? Also Yo, appreciate the Cash App, Johnny Poe with the 25 piece. Yo, you still there, Mitch?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Well, I was getting into this article about you know, this kind of these things that they're putting out there, this narrative that they're putting out there that trans people, women in particular, black trans women in particular, they love to kind of segregate and separate and make us the face of everything, are twice as likely to die as regular, you know, cisgender men or cisgender women. So I want to bring clarity to that because they don't really specify, and they'll make you think by misleading words that they're talking about all violence. That is just people that's just rolling up on them and killing them, you know, like that. When really a lot of these people are involved in situations to where they're homeless, they're out in the streets fending for themselves. A lot of these people are in the sex trade. They're out prostituting.
Right.
You know, these people are on drugs. They're conducting drug business. Then not to mention just the overall health risks of the medication and the regimens that they have to go through. So it's a lot that goes into that twice as likely to die. And that's what I wanted to get at, because right now we're trying to peel back the layers on the narrative. It's the media that's doing this, man. It's the media that's causing this.
I agree.
It's the media.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And you know, and on top, you got a lot of people now that are LGBTQ, homosexual, bisexual, transgender, that are in power now.
Right.
They're in power. You know, you look at the first congressmen, the senators now, they're coming out straight out and telling you, hey, listen, I'm the first. And when they're the first, they're there to make a statement. And not only that, they're there to make some changes.
Right. Man, I wish the first black one could have been like these people are coming in. You know, I think, you know, we keep getting pushed to the back burner, and that's kind of what Dave Chappelle show represented. It's a little bit of jealousy there. There's supposed to be equal protection under the law. And right now, as we're seeing that America's always had a problem providing that, and they're still having a problem providing that. It's just a different face on the injustice that's occurring right now. But man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in and calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we with you, dog. We with you.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all.
Right. Okay.
All right, fellas.
All right now.
All right. Peace out. Yeah, Mitch and Pop in the building. Yeah, my mentors. So I love it, you know, when they call in and you know, chop up some game. You know what I'm saying? It's imperative that we listen to the elders. Not saying that they're elderly, but they're my elders. Does that make sense? Yo. So like I was explaining to Mitch, the whole twice as likely to die thing, you have to be careful. You have to look a little bit deeper. So let's look a little bit deeper. The increased risk did not fall over the almost 5 decades study between 1972 and 2018. They got 5 decades in here. According to an analysis of medical records from nearly 3,000 trans women and more than 1,600 trans men treated at Amsterdam University Medical Center, which treats around 90% of the trans people in the country. That's the Netherlands. trans women have particularly high risks of death, notably from heart disease, lung cancer, HIV-related illness, and suicide. The researchers noted and were almost twice as likely to die than cis men and nearly 3 times as likely to die than cis women. So when they throw that out there with no specificity, it'll give you the impression that these people out here just being, murdered in the street. But that's not really the case. You got to dig a little bit deeper, go a little bit below the surface. V. Lane said the woke movement is like the Black Lives Matter movement. Those who don't talk about being in it, and those who talk about being in it don't know about it. Those who don't talk about being in it, and those who talk about being in it and don't know about it. I mean, they're the same thing. I'm finding out that these are the same things. Like, in order to climb up the social ladder, the social totem pole, I find that a lot of these groups have to depend on us to die and sacrifice for them so they don't have to shed their own blood. So a lot of that is connected to Black trauma. They trauma bond specifically with Black people, which is why the message always gets here. They don't have a bunch of white trans out here that are going in on Dave Chappelle on white news networks. They leave that to the Don Lemons. Just to be honest. They leave that to the Don Lemons. Yeah, great numbers and research. Yeah, exactly, man. And you can look that up on Forbes.com. It talks about it. Let's talk about it. So I asked the question, is the woke movement a tourist organization? So a couple of months ago in California, they had an issue, and I wanted to show you the video of this issue. And this is kind of where we are. Nobody can really explain the right thing to do in this situation, which is even scarier. So let me check it out. Let me check it out. Here we go. So this is about 3 minutes here.
I just want to be clear with you. It's okay for a man to go into the women's section, show his penis around other women, young little girls underage. Your spa, we spa, condone that. Is that what you're saying? Like I asked. It's so he can stay there. He can stay there. What sexual orientation? I see a dick. It lets me know he's a man. He's a man. He is a man. So we spa is an agreement with men that just say they are a woman and they can go down there with their penis and get into the women's section. Is that what you're saying? What really? What law? What law? So women can go into the men with their breasts. You got a man with his penis talking about he's a woman. He ain't no woman. Yeah, give her money back. There's no such thing as transgender. He has a okay? He has a penis. His penis is hanging out. Okay, no, I'm not one. Actually, I'm a woman who knows how to stand up and speak up for my right. As a, you know, he's a man.
So you see how he automatically goes to attack her? When she tells him what her grievance is, he looks over it. This is why this is totally unsafe for our women and girls to be out in these gyms and these public places. I'm being honest. Listen to it. There's nowhere for her to take her grievance. Is this equal protection under the law?
Talking about he's a woman. He ain't no woman. Yeah, give her money
Listen
back.
how he attacks her.
There's no such thing as transgender. He has a okay? He has a penis. His penis is hanging out. Okay, no, I'm not one. Actually, I'm a woman who knows how to stand up and speak up for my right. As a woman, I have a right to feel comfortable without a man exposing himself. Okay? No, you go somewhere else. Okay, so that's right. No, he's not a transgender. He has a penis. To the pin. I'm telling you, he has a penis. A full and testicle, okay?
And if we went into the men's section with our anatomy, that would be
Well, it wouldn't probably, but you might not like women, so it might not, okay? And we don't know, but for me and for a lot of other women, they do not feel comfortable, and it's not okay. Okay? So, well, yeah, it must be hard not being a real man, huh? Try it. Yeah.
Sometimes predators go down and we'll just go to the woman's side.
Okay, well, no, he's sitting in there. Okay, well, security.
No. He doesn't want to.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying he should have not been allowed to. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We know that.
It's like every single day, you guys. And this is what I complain about all the time. Look.
All right. That's why I'm asking the question, y'all. Is the woke movement a tourist organization? Is that something that's really that big of an argument? Is that something that we should argue about? We're having issues with decency. But check this out. One in a transgender person and Popeye's chicken. Looks like a Popeye's chicken or a McDonald's somewhere. I think it's a Popeye's. But here, check this one out as well.
What's his name? What's your name? Alex? Yeah, your name's Alex, and I'm gonna be talking to your manager. This guy called me sir. This happens every day. Everywhere I go, I get called sir. And so why would you call a chick big ass? Why would you call? I didn't say. No, stop trying to gaslight trans people and tell us that we're crazy. Wait, what? Did you call me sir again? What was that? You said goodnight, sir? This is transphobic harassment. You're a bigot at work. All right, Alex, you know what? I can't wait to just. It's a slur. Do you not understand? It's like if you call the person of color the N-word. Don't. You did on the way out. I don't care. I have the right to be pissed about it.
You hear how he said it's like calling a person color the N-word? Do you see how it always has to attach to something else? It has to bond to something else. What's that called? What is that called for my chemists out there? What's that covalent? Is that valency of an atom? Its ability to bond is its valency. Is that am I saying it right? Covalent bonding. It has to have something to bond to, almost like a protein or a fat. Protein, in the biological shit. I don't even want to talk biology with y'all, man. It's not real anymore, obviously. So. It don't make no sense. I don't have to know it, right?
You did. I said I'll lock the door. You did, you liar. Cis people need to be held accountable for how they treat trans people. And I'm not going to put up with this anymore. You're crazy, bro. Don't call me bro. Stop throwing slurs at me, you piece of shit. No, you. I ain't your sis. I ain't your bro. You don't even know me. Don't call me sir. This is transphobia. Right here at the top. Yeah, you got hurt last me.
Real freaking maniac, dog. Real freaking maniac. Is the woke movement a tourist organization? Call in. I want to know. 515-605-9708.
They smell like a pile of bullshit.
Yeah, that's what people in different states are dealing with. These are the type of interactions we're having as a society. But for those of you who still think your boy crazy or still think I'm homophobic or whatever, because I'm not, I do want to bring up something to y'all. And maybe this is something y'all need to cancel. Maybe y'all should cancel the APA. Let's talk about it. I got to type this one in. For some reason, it didn't show up. All right. So let's go to American Psychiatry Association. Does anybody have any problems with my resource? Let me read this story or this website. It's not a story. So the American Psychiatric Association has this term called gender dysphoria. So let's talk about what gender dysphoria is. What is gender dysphoria? The term transgender refers to a person whose sex assigned at birth, i.e., the sex assigned by a physician at birth, usually based on external genitalia, which is what it should be assigned, does not match their gender identity, one's psychological sense of their gender. Some people who are transgender will experience gender dysphoria, which refers to psychological distress that results from an incongruence between one's sex assigned at birth and one's gender identity. Though gender dysphoria often begins in childhood, some people may not experience it until after puberty or much later. People who are transgender may pursue multiple domains of gender affirmation, including social affirmation, changing one's names or pronouns, legal affirmation, changing gender marker on one's government-issued documents, medical affirmation, pubertal suppression or gender-affirming hormones, and or surgical affirmation. That's a vaginoplasty, facial feminization surgery, breast augmentation, masculine chest reconstruction. Of note, not all people who are transgender will desire all domains of gender affirmation, as these are highly personal and individual decisions. I agree. It is important to note that gender identity is different from gender expression, whereas gender identity refers to one's psychological sense of their gender. Gender expression refers to the way in which one presents to the world in a gendered way. For example, in much of the U.S., wearing a dress is considered a feminine gender expression, not nowadays in rap, and wearing a tuxedo is considered masculine gender expression. Such expectations are culturally defined and vary across time and culture. One's gender expression does not necessarily align with their gender identity. Diverse gender expressions, much like diverse gender identities, are not indications of a mental disorder. Gender identity is also different from sexual orientation. Sexual orientation refers to the type of people towards which one is sexually attracted. People who are transgender have the same diversity of sexual orientations as people who are cisgender. So it says it's not a mental illness, but then you have a diagnosis for this, right? So the diagnosis in the Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM-5, provides one overarching diagnosis of gender dysphoria with separate and specific criteria for children and for adolescents and adults. It defines gender dysphoria in adolescents and adults as a marked incongruence between one's experience/expressed gender and their assigned gender, lasting at least 6 months, as manifested by at least two of the following. A marked incongruence between one's experience and it already said that. A strong desire to rid one of one's primary or secondary sex characteristic because of a marked incongruence with one's experience/expressed gender. To prevent the development of the anticipated secondary sex characteristics. A strong desire for the primary or secondary sex characteristics of the other gender. A strong desire to be of the other gender. A strong desire to be treated as the other gender. A strong conviction that one has the typical feelings and reactions of the other gender. In order to meet a criteria for a diagnosis, the condition must also be associated with clinically significant distress and impairment in social, occupational, and other areas of functioning. So I'm saying this to say this. It's in the APA. It's in the DSM-5. But if all of this is being promoted, even if it's some people that may be suffering from this, why is it not a public outcry to help people who may be suffering from this? Why does the public just push them into being a transgender? Oh, yeah, just go on, do it. Just do it. Just do it. Nobody ever really takes time and brings this stuff up in public. Don Lemon hadn't done a show about this. He hasn't done a show about gender dysphoria to determine whether somebody is mentally stable enough to go through with this surgery, especially when we're talking about kids. Kids are the target. Kids are the target. Kids are the target. Kids are the target. Look what we're talking about tonight. Robin and Superman's son. I'm going to leave out with this story tonight. And I hope I didn't offend anybody.
On National Coming
I
Out
just
Day,
came to
DC
talk
Comics
facts. Give me a moment. Let me tee this one up. Man, you couldn't pay me to move to California. Not even $50 million. All right, last story of the night, and I'm going to let you go because, like I told you, the kids are the target. Think I'm lying? Prove me wrong. Come on the show.
Boys stuff together.
Let's go back.
Ask why change it?
Just because it has a male and female.
All right, man. What's going on? Hold on. Have some internet issues. Let's go.
A California bill is on the table that would ban stores from displaying children's clothes and toys in separate boys and girls sections in big department stores. And stores that don't get on board could face hefty fines. News 8's Teresa Sardina reports from Claremont with more on what this bill entails.
Steve, once this revised bill goes into effect, children's sections at large retailers like Target are going to look quite different.
Maybe one of these.
Assembly Bill 1085 to ban stores from displaying children's clothing and toys in separate boys and girls sections. The bill was introduced by Bay Area Assemblyman Evan Lowe in February, requiring stores with more than 500 employees like Target, Marshalls, or Macy's to display children's clothing and toys in one undivided area of its sales floor.
I am a parent of a trans child.
Parents sparked the conversation.
I still am in favor of combining things, and then people can choose.
I think it's a wonderful idea to smush girl-boy stuff together.
Some ask, why change it?
Just because it has a male and female designation doesn't mean that you can't walk to, a male toy. Right. And vice versa.
Let's just have a kids section.
News 8 reaches out to Lowe's office as he's aiming to reduce stigma and bullying. In fact, he says remove it. He provides a statement, quote, children should be able to express themselves freely and focus on more important things than stereotypical gender norms. Major retailers like Target and others support this legislation, and many of these businesses already have gender-neutral kids sections. The state is actually playing catch-up on this issue. Toys are toys. Let's make safe spaces for all children and let kids be kids. The bill that was introduced last month was amended and finalized in March. Clothing was taken out. Clothing will remain separate in boys and girls sections. Stores that don't comply would face fines up to $1,000. Soon you will find toys, hygiene, and home items in a combined section, as you would find board games, books, and bikes. The revised bill will be introduced April 1st, and according to Assemblyman Evan Lowe's office, this bill will go into effect by January 2024. For more on the story, you can visit CBS8.com. Reporting in Claremont, Teresa Sardina, News 8.
All right. Like I said, if y'all don't believe me, they're aiming for the children. They would never try that in the adult sections because adults know that we can go get our own shit. It don't matter what you want to wear. Nobody's going to be upset with you if you're a guy and you want to be shopping in the women's section. The women might be mad, but who cares what they think? Obviously. I'm going to leave y'all with something, and I have to say this is very disturbing. I'm going to be doing some more pre-records about this, but I want to leave y'all off with something that's kind of off the subject, but it's something that needs to be talked about because they brought up bullying. And they're saying that this is a way to counteract bullying. But are y'all familiar with the guy that the boy that they're now calling the Texas school shooter, Timothy Simpkins? Are y'all aware with what's going on with Timothy Simpkins? He's facing some pretty hefty charges. I believe they're felony assault with deadly weapons or something of that nature, felony assault charges. He's 18 years old. He makes straight A's and B's. good kid, comes from a good family. Excuse me. Comes from a good family. This is what Timothy Simpkins was going through, and I had to dig far and wide and deep to find this, and I wound up finding it not even on an American press outlet. Everything on the American press outlets is basically tagging him as a school shooter. But let's talk about bullying. Check this out. This is what Timothy Simpkins had to go through.
You a hoe, nigga, on blood. You a bitch ass nigga.
All right. So the dude that was beating him is the dude that got clapped the next day. But apparently this child had been suffering all types of abuse from these young kids. This boy was 3 years younger than him. But ask yourself about bullying, because at this point in time, principals were made aware, teachers were made aware, teachers were present. That boy was at school the next day to catch the motherfucking bullets. Why? There's supposed to be equal protection under the law. But what's happening to Timothy Simpkins, a young black male who's about to be railroaded because obviously he had to protect his damn self? The state has now taken over on behalf of the bully and charged Timothy Simpkins. While he's the victim and he's getting along better in the hospital. He's no longer in critical condition, so he's going to live. Now ask yourself this question. If Timothy Simpkins would have been LGBT, would we be having the same conversation? I'm your host, Big Mike. This is the Big Mike Drop. Don't take no wooden nickels. Equal protection under the law. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm ready to get to 1,000 so I can go ahead and get this channel to the next level. I appreciate y'all for joining me tonight. Those of you who stayed with me, I appreciate y'all for being on the show. I'm going to do one last sweep of the phone lines, and I got somebody on. 747, you on a Big Mic Drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, who we got here?
This is your boy, Real Dude, Uprising. What's going on, man?
Man, what's happening, man? How you doing, brother?
All right, man.
Good. What's on your mind, brother?
I think more and more black people are getting tired of what, remember you were talking about that covalent bond between LGBT and black people.
Yes.
They have consistently piggybacked off of black struggle to gain support or momentum or gain any type of sympathy or consideration. And it's getting very tiring.
Yes.
That's why people like Don Lemon are a disappointment. And so, you know, in any debate over this kind of stuff, it's always critical to ask the right question. So my thing is this: the black struggle for equality and equal consideration is over 200 years old.
Yes,
it's over 200 years old. And look at it like a rowboat. We have been rowing for 200 years for equality and equal consideration. And here we have people, as you saw the first lady that didn't like what Dave Chappelle had to say. We have people who are already on the boat, jumping up and down, talking about accept me and don't say anything about my lifestyle, and you got to accept how I am. So to my black people, of the LGBT community, I have a question. Because of your skin already that you're in, because of your black born birthright, you are already on the boat.
Right.
My question is, see, this is what happens when you're not black first. Notice I didn't say pro-black, I didn't say black only, but this is what happens when you're not black first.
Right.
Flame told everybody, hey, I can hide my trans, I can hide this, but I can't hide that I'm black.
Right.
That Flame is a black first individual.
Yes.
So my question to black people who are members of the LGBT, my question is this: you are already on the boat. When do you sit down and start rolling?
I love that. I love that, bro. No, that's real shit. When do you sit down and start rolling? Because they trying to roll us back to oppression by code switching.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're trying to roll us back to oppression by code switching.
And it's like trying to spit uphill in the wind.
Right.
You know, like it's really black people keep getting pushed to the back, pushed to the back, pushed to the back, pushed to the back.
Right.
It's like a system of bus stops where, you know, the LGBT will get off at their stop and you know, the Spanish people, Latino people, they get off at their stop, and the Asian people get off at their stop on this road to equality on the bus, and there's no stops for black people. They get off.
No stops.
They don't have a stop.
No, matter of fact, the bus ain't got no wheels. We the one carrying everybody else till they stop.
Hey. You know what I mean? And it's just like, black people are the group of the people that have been on the bus the longest.
We are the bus, brother.
It's crazy.
But guess what?
It's crazy.
We have the power to tell everybody when to get off, man. I got some more calls on the line. I appreciate you for calling in, bro. Real dude uprising.
All right. Keep it coming, everybody. Like and share, keep it coming.
All right, brother, man. Appreciate you. Yo, you on the big mic drop? What we got?
Hey, what's up, cuz? V-Lang in this thing.
V-Lang in this thing. Man, what's popping?
Same old thing, man. Just checking in, coming in hot.
Yeah.
See what the topic is.
Yeah.
You know, shouting out the big mic drop. Just on GP, you know.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for coming through. I was actually in the process of signing off, and then Real Dude Uprising called in, man. So yeah, we had a pretty intense conversation tonight, man, about this woke movement and just about equal protection under the law, man. I think we're back to that again in the United States of America.
Man, I don't know. I don't even know what the subject is. I wanted to talk to you sort of about this Russian intelligence story about this guy who was trying to sell secrets to the Russians.
Well, let's talk offline because I don't know anything about it to talk educated on it. So I'll talk to you offline because I was actually about to sign off. So I'll call you when I get off here.
Nah.
All right.
That's all good, man. But yeah, just checking in and wanted to say hello. And chop it up. You know, I be just getting off, so I can't tune in like I want to, man. But you know, I have to support.
No, I appreciate your support.
Try to put my 2 cents in when I can.
No, I appreciate your support, cuz man, we love you. All right, man.
Enjoy the show, y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tune in, everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Vance.
All right, good.
All right. V-Lang in the building. So y'all, pretty good conversation tonight, man. A couple of good callers, man. I appreciate Real Dude Uprising for calling in, man, and just, sharing that with us. You already on the boat. When are you going to start rowing? Ain't nobody worried about who you sleeping with. Nobody's worried about that. It's really nobody's business. That's the thing about the black community that I've always loved. It's always never been anybody's damn business. And there's nothing wrong with telling people it's none of your business. But what y'all are doing is this is called meritorious manumission. You guys are taking handouts and coon trinkets and butter biscuits to help the white supremacists. But the results are going to be the same. No equal protection under the law. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, man. I'm out of here, man. Peace.